Hi there, I want to share with you a remarkable bit of footage of my old friend Humza Yousaf, sorry, not Hamza, useless. Humza Yousaf making two mad claims while he's in America. The first one is Muslims didn't do 9/11, and the second one is Muslims built America. Right? Not honestly did say it, right? He genuinely did say it. But before I show you this sort of 60-second clip of him with this amazing revelations, world changing, history changing revelations, I want to just remind you why he's there, talk about why he's there, what he's doing there, and remind you of a video I done last week where he told the world what he was going to do once he retires from being an MSP, which will happen in May next year. And one of the things he said in that amazing clip was he's going to help nurture the next generation of world leaders. And now he's in America giving political speeches. And he's advising, amongst other things, how Muslims can get into better places in American politics. Now, this is pretty mental, right? Because, see, most people that kind of like Hamza and what he stands for, they're the exact same people that hate Trump, hate Elon Musk, and absolutely tell them every day they should have nothing to do with British, Scottish politics, right? Which tells you their theory is that you shouldn't get yourself involved with politics in a foreign country. Let me remind you about the reason for this video. It's to report on a political talk given by Humza Yousaf in America, where in the same week he's declared that once he's retired from Hollywood, he's going to influence world politics by nurturing the next generation of world leaders. Can you understand why I'm struggling with the concept of people that think this guy's hip and groovy, right? They're politics, right? It doesn't matter the argument. They'll totally spin it when it suits them. So, Trump, Musk, don't you get involved in politics here, because foreigners shouldn't get involved in politics here, right? Oh, Humza's over in America telling them how to run the country, right? Humza's telling us he's going to help with the nurturing of the next generation of world leaders across, other countries. But that's cool, because it's Humza, right? So anyway, what's he doing in America? Right, he's been taken over to do a whistle-stop tour. He might be home now, right? He's doing 3 or 4 gigs in America for a group called MPAC, who are, let me get their full name, I can't remember what it means, the Muslim Public Affairs Council, right? Now, I've done a video about this before he went out, and I told you a wee bit about their origins, and they're pretty scary, right? They were formed in 1988 as historical and ideological connections to the Muslim Brotherhood. They're quite naughty. They're like banned for even a lot of Arabic Muslim countries. They're that naughty, right? Through its founding figures and early affiliations. According to multiple investigative reports and court documents, however, MPAC itself denies any direct or ongoing ties with Muslim Brotherhood. You would kind of need to, right? Because they're kind of banned in most places in the world. Anyway, they've positioned themselves as a civil rights group focused on American pluralism and countering Islamophobia. Seems to have a lot of people all over the world, these groups formed to combat this Islamophobia. Anyway, these allegations are often framed as politically motivated smears by critics, while supporters highlight MPAC's opposition to terrorism. You don't need to, because you don't believe that they're not do it, as we'll hear with Hamza in a couple of minutes when I play the video, right? So, they don't do terrorism. It's not a problem. Anyway, because it's the claim they do work with some US agencies. Now, the founders, MPAC originated as the Political Action Committee of the Islamic Center of Southern California in 1986. Then they evolved into a national thing in 1988. Anyway, key figures in the founders included brothers Meha Hathot and Hassoun Hathot. One of them was a senior advisor, and the other one was a former president. They were arrested in Egypt in the 60s, because Egypt don't like the Muslim Brotherhood, right? During their student years. Hassan described himself as a close disciple of Hassan al-Banna, who was the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, in books in the author's bio. In 1989, US Muslim Brotherhood internal document entered as evidence in the 2008 Holy Land Foundation terrorism financial trial listed Hathor among MB-affiliated Islamic centres and groups in the field. But it's nothing to do with Muslim Brotherhood, right? Now, they were described as a political lobby arm of the Muslim Brotherhood by many, by watchdogs like the Global Muslim Brotherhood Watch, who kind of sounds as if they're specialists in the subject, right? And the Investigative Project on Terrorism cited its opposition to US counter-terrorism measures and defence of groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. Right? Anyway, in 2011, MPAC honoured Richard Ghannouchi, the leader of Tunisia's Muslim Brotherhood, affiliated Ennahda Party. So they're like a political arm of Muslim Brotherhood in Tunisia, and they honoured his death in 2011. But they have got no links to Muslim Brotherhood, apparently, allegedly. It also participated in the 2006 US-Belgium dialogue with other alleged MB-linked groups like CARE and ISNL. Now, their official website statements emphasise that they're totally independent, obviously. Who could question that, right? And they just go on a lot of shite about how they've never done it. While no explicit blanket denial of Muslim Brotherhood ties appears in recent statements, MPAC has actively opposed MB terrorist designation efforts. You with me here? So, although nothing to do with it, when people have tried to put Muslim Brotherhood down as a terror group, they've opposed that. There's nothing to do with it, right? And we're dead against terrorism, but we don't want to make the Muslim Brotherhood a terror group in your country, but we've got nothing to do with it. You hearing this? So there we go. That's kind of them, right? Now, Hamza is over on their behalf and getting taken around the country to do talks to MPAC groups who have got nothing to do with the Muslim Brotherhood, right? So let's just make that clear. So nobody's saying that Humza Yousaf has got anything to do with the Muslim Brotherhood, nor any of the groups he's working for, because they say so, right? So let's just put that out there. So go back to the point, right? I'm just going to play the video of Hamza telling us two things. Muslims didn't do 9/11 and they built America. So, Hamza, take it away, you old devil.
Spoke for so many of us when he articulated with emotion, powerful emotion, just how he felt 24 years on from those dreadful attacks on 9/11, and saying that Muslims continue to be targeted, abused, and vilified, all under the glare of suspicion for a crime that we did not commit. And I think therein lies the first lesson for us. Be unapologetic about who you are. Be unapologetic about being Muslim. Be proud of your identity as an American Muslim. You see, Muslims are not being hosted here in America. You, the Muslim community, are building America.
Said those two things, right? We didn't do it. And he's talking about Muslims because within seconds he's saying that we should not be apologetic, right? So we just didn't do it, right? Any of these people saying it was us bad Muslims, you're wrong, right? And he did say it. We're not hosts in America. We are building America. Do me a favour. See if you know anybody in America. My videos, I think one video had went nuts in America for some mad reason. It was probably because I wasn't talking in it, right? If you know anybody in America, send them this video, please, right? Just send it to your mates in America, family, and say, spread this about, right? And tell them, just careful. So if you see him at like Disneyland or anything, go and tell him he's daft. Tell him, Big Craig says you're daft, right? Do that. That would be most amusing, okay? So, that's kind of it. Just for clarity, the group that took him to America are nothing to do with Muslim Brotherhood because they tell us that, right? So other people suggest that they're wrong, right? they're bad. It's this group tell you got nothing to do with it. So although they don't like terrorists, right? But they don't want the Muslim Brotherhood to be deemed a terrorist organisation in countries, but we don't like terrorists, so they're not got nothing to do with them. And obviously the fact that they're paying Humza, at least just for his expenses, he's got nothing to do with them at all, right? So don't be anybody saying anything bad about Humza. Just remember that the Muslims didn't do 9/11. And if anybody says otherwise, you tell them Hamza said that didn't happen, right? I don't know. There are people who say it never happened. And there are people who say it was other people. And that's a whole new ballgame other people will argue with. That's no my bag, right? But Hamza's telling you it did happen, but it wasn't the Muslims, right? And especially if you're in America, just remember, the Muslims are building your nation, all right? So if you want others to see the video, click a thumbs up, hit the share, put your comments below. YouTube love comments, right? Even if it's just, "Hi Craig," right? Double check if you think you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the button. YouTube now used to be the other way about. They used to put my videos in front of more people who weren't subscribed. Now it's total opposite. Unless you're subscribed, you kind of won't see many of them, right? So do me a favour, make sure you are. If not, hit that button. And more important than all that, unless you're the type of person who thinks Muslims are building America, Muslims didn't do 9/11. And this mob that Humza's out talking for have got nothing to do with the Muslim Brotherhood. Then, not you, but everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.